Are we ready?
All right, ready.
No bras required. The podcast where two girlfriends talk about everything from diapers to death and do it all braless and brutally honest.
I'm Megan. I'm a mom of four, lifelong educator, dance studio owner, coffee and wine snob, and never afraid to speak my mind.
And I'm Patti, mom of three, teacher turned leader, dance boss, loud laughter, tequila enthusiast, and professionally unfiltered.
Together, we've got over 30 years in education, 7 kids, 2 studios, countless bottles of wine and tequila, and a whole lot of stories to share with you.
What's No Bras Required all about? It's a space for women like us who are juggling life, entrepreneurship, parenting, work, marriage, friendship, grief, joy, chaos, and just need some real talk.
So whether you're sipping wine in leggings, hiding in your car, or rage cleaning your kitchen, we're here for you.
Hey, Megan.
Hey, Patti.
How you doing?
Welcome. I'm good. Welcome back, everybody. We are here on No Bras Required, our fun little podcast. And today, Patti, we
I'm
are
excited.
having... Oh, I know. I can't wait. This is the best. So we are having the talk without needing therapy after. So we're navigating the infamous birds, bees, and beyond conversation with kids, surviving it with humor, honesty, and maybe you might need a glass of wine after. So before we get started, friends, listen to the podcast first before you play it in the car. This may not be the one to have playing in the car out loud. And then actually, it might be a great one to help you kind of break that ice.
Yeah, like maybe it is the one to play in the car accidentally after to get the conversation going.
Yeah.
Because parents dread the talk, like it's a one-time TED talk that we have to nail. Really, it's a series of small, messy, perfectly imperfect conversations. Now, this episode is going to explore how to approach it without turning redder than your teenager, and that the reminder that laughter is often the best icebreaker.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to kick off, with a good laugh or more.
Yeah.
So Patti, do you
Megan.
have any of those awkward attempts or like cringy moments that have happened around the talk?
Well, several. Okay, let's just start with several.
Okay.
My first talk, like, do you want me to go right into a story of how
Yeah.
my oldest came to know how babies were made?
Yes, please do.
Okay. So my oldest is very much a big picture thinker, cannot settle without knowing everything about everything. He gets that from me. His curiosity he gets from me. He's the reason why I had to buy the mom calendar that has everybody's to-dos on it, because he would be like, all right, I know you're at work, but where is my brother? Where is my sister? Like, and what time will you all be home? Like, he just needs to know. And it started because he asked me, like, what was it like when you had me, Mom? And he was probably 4 when that question, 3, 4 when that came up. And I'm like, Dylan, it was beautiful. Honestly, it was beautiful meeting you for the first time. And I meant that in my heart of hearts because, and I don't want to brag, but I delivered my first in 30 minutes. And I went back to the room and there was roast beef dinner with carrots and stuff. And I was like, carrots. That's what I remember thinking. And I was like, I don't know what all the fuss was about. So it really wasn't that bad.
All right, go you.
Right? Toot. Yeah. And then please don't hate me because of my deliveries. Please don't hate me because of my deliveries. Because I had the worst periods known to man as a teenage girl. So there was like, it wasn't all great. Now keep in mind, my boys grew up on a farm. So one day my in-laws came to the door and I had my boys and my niece and nephew And they're like, we need help pulling a calf. This mom's in distress and we got to pull this calf with the. So I get to the barn with the kids and I'm trying to push the kids up front so they can't see everything that's happening. And there's chains on the calf. I don't know if you've ever seen a calf being born, but like when the mom's in distress, you can't get the calf out. You tie up the hind legs of the calf and you pull. Like it's not pleasant. It's not something that's pretty. And that's what these kids all witnessed.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. And then, weird side effect, my oldest stops talking to me for like 2 or 3 days. He was just mad and mad at me. Like, because I was like, what is up with him? Like, anyway, I didn't put it all together. And then finally I was like, hey, honey, like, what's going on? Like, you're not talking to mom. You're not. And he's like, you lied to me and you said you would never lie.
Oh, my.
And I was like, what did I lie about? You said it was beautiful when you had me. And I'm like, it was. He goes, you pooped me out.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, first of all, I was offended. I'm like, I am not a heifer. Like, you watch your mouth. But also, like, I didn't poop you out. So then that's what started the conversation for us. I was like, no, I didn't poop you out. I said, do you remember when we went to the vets for they had a preschool trip and no, wait, that's a different story. We'll get into that after.
Ooh, okay.
That was a vasectomy talk.
Yes.
So I had to explain to him that women have 2 holes. I said, we're not cows, Dylan. We're women. I said, so you have a hole at the end of your penis that pee comes out of, and you have a hole in your bum that poop comes out of. And he goes, yeah. And I said, well, girls have a middle hole in between those 2, and that's where babies come out of. So I said, I never pooped you out. You came out of I said, it's called, like, that's the vagina. And he was like, okay. And that satisfied him for about a week. And then he came back and he would go, okay, I understand that babies come out of vaginas, but how do they get in there? And so I said, well, they're put there by the daddy. I said, it takes a mommy and a daddy to make a baby. The daddy has a seed in his penis and he gives it to the mommy. And between that, like, and the mommy has an egg. And I said, and that makes a baby grow. That satisfied him for about a week. And it was like a series of time. Side note, this child, I got a phone call from the school. He's in grade 1. And his teacher phones me and she goes, Patti, I need to like talk to you about Dylan. Like, are you like, what have you told him about the birds and the bees? And I'm like, why? Megan, this boy was fact checking me at school.
Was he asking teachers?
So he would digest what he could for a bit, and then he'd put up his hand and he'd go, hey, my mom said babies come from vaginas. And it's like, whoa. So then I'm like, oh my gosh, well, how do we handle this? And she's like, well, what is your, and I love this teacher, like to this day for this. She's like, well, what's your policy? And I'm like, well, I'm not going to tell him more than he's asking because he's young. But if he has the wherewithal to ask the question, I will give him an honest answer. And I said, we use proper like anatomy terms in our house. Like I don't call it, like Todd wanted to call a vagina a front bum. And I was like, dude, get real.
Oh, no.
We don't call it a noo-noo, it's a nose. So don't make my vagina something weird. So anyways, that was, and she goes, okay. And I said, but what if when he has a question, I'll phone and let you know. And then you can just not call on him when he puts his or just say, you know what, Dylan, I'll catch you later. And she's like, perfect. Okay. So then it took about 6 weeks for it to all come out. And the last day, he's like, okay, I know the seed comes out the daddy's penis and it goes into the vagina and that's how a baby's made. And the baby grows in there and then the baby comes out. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, but how, Mom? How does it get out of the penis into the vagina? And I said, well, okay, Dylan. I said, like, your penis is kind of an outie. And I actually like used my finger. And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, well, a vagina is like a tube, like a hole. And he goes, okay. And I said, well, it just plugs in.
It just goes together.
Megan, I misstepped one. This was my son's reaction. He stopped, made a face, and then he goes, oh my God, you're not wearing any clothes, are you? I'm like, no, baby, that happens naked. And he's like, that is so gross.
Good.
I'm like, you know what? I'm sure there's going to be a day where you don't think so. I said, if you're with the right person, it can be actually kind of fun, Dell. I don't think so. I am never having kids.
Okay.
Yeah. So then it was like all like, I don't know what you guys call it, like 6th level red flag alert, like phoning the school. Like the second the bus was out the driveway, I was like, you need to get his teacher. You need to get her out. do not, do not take a question from my son today, please.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
And
Yeah.
then it was all the, well, how many times have you done that with dad? Like that was the next sequence.
Oh yeah. Then you keep going. Oh,
Yeah.
bless him.
Bless
Bless
him.
him. No, little baby.
Oh,
Yeah.
baby. Yeah.
I mean, it's a gross business. It can be. It just,
Yeah.
I,
Let's hear
so
yours.
I remember, so my actual, like when I learned about it, I was in second grade and I don't remember what the playground talk was, but it's very similar
Mm.
to kind of Dylan's story of somebody somewhere had the talk, and I think it came from an older brother.
Probably.
So like I clearly remember we had this concrete tube that we all sat in at recess,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like where you had the secret conversations,
Yeah.
so like the teacher didn't know,
Yeah.
and it was second grade, and so we're all in there, and one of my little friends, her brother had told her things, and so she was telling us on the playground,
Yeah.
and then somebody snitched and went and told our teacher that we were having these conversations. So then our teacher had to call our moms and let them know that, hey, this is what's happening, and so we're all mad. And my mom was a nurse, like
Mm-hmm.
your mom. I mean, we
Yeah.
grew up in my house of knowing all of the correct terms. I already knew what a penis was.
Yeah.
I think at the time I knew what a vagina was because, I mean, that was just what you knew. And I was the oldest of four, and I'm sure at some point I was like, what is that? Like,
Yeah.
why does, my brother look different than I do?
Yeah.
So I knew what all that was. So my mom had these books. And so she brought out these books, and we had almost like, I don't know, like story time. And so like we went through and we talked about all the things, and
Yeah.
she showed the pictures, um and so that was how I learned it. And then it was kind of like Santa Claus. It was, well, now you don't talk about this. You don't tell anybody. You
Yeah.
don't, this is a secret kind of a thing. Um, yeah, but I would just remember it being very awkward and also very like, ew, but
Yeah.
you just don't even understand it at the time,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Um, it's just interesting. Yeah.
It, I totally agree. And I'm glad that you said that too, because after I had the talk with Dylan, I made very sure to say to him, this is a very special private talk between a parent and a child. So I don't want to hear you sharing this with other kids at school because you don't want to take that away from another family.
Right.
And he I mean, do I know that he was 100%? No, I don't know. But I never got a phone call from a parent. I know when I learned about it, same thing. My mom, I wonder if we had the same books. They were called the Family Life Cycle books. Is that what yours was?
I don't remember. I just remember it was very like 1980s.
Oh, very.
Oh, very. And it
Yeah.
was like not really cartoon drawings, but kind of cartoon
Yeah.
drawings and
Yeah.
probably the same thing.
Yeah.
It was,
So go ahead.
yeah. Oh, I was gonna say it was well before like the American Girl doll stuff came out and was big. And now they have the All About Me books, that talk about
Yeah.
puberty and how to be a
Yeah.
girl and blah blah. And I have a story on that later. But um yeah, it was well before that. So it probably was, yeah, family life cycle.
Yeah. I remember, so I was the kid on the playground that told my friends.
Okay.
Now, I didn't go into it to tell them. And I don't remember this, but I remember the fallout of it. I got into an argument with one of my friends. There was 3 or 4 of us that used to always hang out together. And her mom told her that the stork brought babies. Well, I
Oh
knew
dear.
they didn't
Right. No, I knew that too. Yeah.
because my mom was also a nurse. And so we got into an argument about it, and I couldn't be wrong, please, especially when I'm right. So I brought them all home to my house and showed them the medical journals and the family life cycle books.
Oh,
And
that's
so,
awesome.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm like, listen, I've got written proof.
Um,
My research.
yeah.
But what
So
ended up,
let me tell you about how I could prove to people. My mom, I was in second grade when my brother was born.
yeah,
She had his birth videotaped.
you showed it to people?
Oh no, we weren't allowed to do that.
Oh, okay.
But our favorite thing, my brother and I, was to sit there and watch it. And so we could see my brother be born, and then we'd rewind it and watch him go
Go
back in.
back in.
And then we watch him come out, and then we watch him
That,
go back in.
that is
Well, that was
awesome.
VCR, right? Like, I mean, it's not
Yeah.
like DVR and
Yeah.
everything that we have now. Like, you really watched him come out and go back in.
Yeah. Rewind. Oh my God. I love
My
it.
mom was like, "Stop it!" And I was like, "Oh, it was the best game." And probably also because it made her mad. But yeah.
True.
So I mean, we had that. Like, we had a video of it. I watched. I mean, not in the birthing room, but she had a friend
Yeah.
who was a nurse videotape it. And so it was kind of like, when you ended up in health class and you watch a baby being born for the first time and you had to watch that video and then
Yeah.
everybody throwing up and
Yeah.
all of a sudden they were like proclaiming abstinence forever after seeing that. Yeah, yeah. But I saw that in second grade.
That's okay. So when I was delivering my first, my doctor was like, "Do you want to watch?" And I'm like, "What?" And she goes, "Well, I can have a mirror here." And these were the words that came out of my mouth. Jesus put it at that end for a reason. I'm good.
And then I'm the one that's having the C-sections going, I would love to see this. Like, I
No,
want to see what this looks like. And they're like, no, you don't. And I was like, no, I really do.
no. I'm so curious. I want to know how everything works, but there's some things to me that need to be magical. Like I still remember being pissed right off that they explained how the rainbow is made.
Oh, I know.
And I'm like, no, no.
No,
Excuse you, sir.
it needs to still be magic.
Yeah. So like I know it's water and reflection from the sun, but I still choose to believe like there's leprechauns involved somehow
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
it just makes life more fun.
Right? I know.
Yeah.
No, I do agree. I don't think I would want to see it a natural birth, like my natural birth. Not that my body ever made that possible, but I don't know. I just kind of thought it was like, and I didn't go in the birthing classes. I skipped or was absent from the one where we watched about a C-section. So
Mhm.
I think some of that was that like innate curiosity of like, I know what a natural birth looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it a million
Yeah.
times forward and backwards. So my poor mom. But I've never seen C-section. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I just think it'd be kind of cool. Like I don't know. I don't know. But
Cut
fun
you
fact,
open, magically
right?
put you back
Put you
together.
back together. I mean, I will say, after having Ryan, and I knew we were done. That was 4,
Yeah.
and I wanted 4. That I was good. I had 2 girls, 2 boys, and I really did tell the doctor. I was like, I know that you have to like take it out and put it on the table to sew it back up. Could you just like knock it on the floor? and then it's like medical waste and I don't need it back because I'm
Yeah.
done. And she was like, no, honey, we can't. And I was like, no, but really, like you could just accidentally hit it and it just falls to the floor. And she's like, no, it doesn't work that way. And I was like, but it's parts I don't need.
But it could.
She was like, no. And I was like, I mean, you can leave the ovaries. I just don't need the uterus anymore.
Yeah.
Like I
I'm
was
never,
bargaining so hard
yeah.
to
She
not have
would,
it back.
she would not have it.
Would not have it. She was like, no,
I
no,
will
no.
not hold you legally responsible for my uterus hitting the floor.
I mean, I was already getting my tubes tied. So I was like, girl,
Yeah.
I'm not going to have any more babies. I already signed the contract.
She
But
probably thought you inhaled too much gas.
uh, something, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was really serious. And they told me I couldn't have any more babies. Like I was too high risk for rupture. So I was like, look,
Oh,
it's just sitting there taking up space. It doesn't
yeah.
need to be
Get
taken.
rid of
But
it.
no, they don't let you. So, anybody listening, you can try to bargain, but they won't go for it.
They might not allow it.
Yeah, I know. So, fun fact though, since we were talking about, how young we were when we
Yeah.
learned about the birds and the bees, and and our friends talking about it, really, it's age 6 to 8 that kids first start talking about sex.
Yeah.
Yes, I know, moms, this is where you probably need that glass of wine because you're having a heart attack at this moment. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
But they're hearing it from other kids at this age and they're asking questions and they're aware of the difference in body parts and how does this work. And so they really start asking about it that young. But
Yeah.
we don't do sex education in the US until age 11 or 12. When do you guys start it in Canada, or do you?
It's elementary school. So, because I know we have to sign, and my kids were always embarrassed because I'm like, yeah, I want to see the pamphlet. And they're like, Mom, nobody else asks for it. I'm like, I don't care. Like, this is a really important part of your relationship, like satisfaction. It's like, there's the boy
Yep.
humor showing up. Uh, but but I'm like, no, I want to know what they're talking to you about so that we can have a conversation at home because there's the education part of it. And then there's the feeling part of it and the family value stamp that I want to put on it. Like, you're free to make your own choices, but don't think for 1 second I'm not going to tell you what our family values are about how you show up sexually. Da 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 da. Like,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a huge part of it. Yeah, ours starts in 5th grade and
yeah. I think that's right here.
they start talking more about puberty in 5th grade. Like, oh, you're gonna grow hair in these parts. And they're like, what? And you're gonna start stinking and use deodorant, which they don't listen to. So you have to reiterate that a million times. Coming from a middle school teacher of 23 years, please, anywhere that they sweat, they can put on deodorant. It should be applied multiple times a day.
Yeah,
It's fine. It can't
yeah,
hurt them, but their stink hurts us. So yes, parents, we need you to reiterate that many, many times. But yes, so that's kind of like 5th grade.
yeah.
And then it's, I think like 7th or 8th. I can't remember which one now because they've kind of moved it around. That they really go through like, this is the penis.
Yeah,
Here's the scrotum.
yeah,
Here's the vagina, the vulva, like all the parts.
yeah,
And then like this is how it goes together. And then the sperm and the egg and and they have the big
yeah.
sex talk. My best friend is a health PE teacher. So this is what she does, right? She
Oh,
has to teach
fun.
every year. And so it's like the best part of the year, I think, because it's hilarious, and the kids are all cringy and like, ugh,
Yeah,
whatever. And, and some know about it. Some are actually doing it at that moment.
yeah,
So I don't know how they know what they're doing and really like what a 13-year-old, how that works. I mean, I know it works, but like really, anyway. But yeah, some of them are. Some
yeah.
of them are. Yeah.
That's
But
scary to me.
she,
But
I
yes.
know, I know. And I'm just like, y'all, like it's not even fully developed yet. So you are just disappointing yourself in so many ways. Like Just
Well,
wait.
and I was just like, at 13, I'm thinking me and my best friend were secretly playing Barbie still. Like
Correct.
it was just the two of us because we didn't want other people to know. But I'm pretty sure
Hmm. Yeah.
like that was our big secret.
I mean, our Barbies may have been having sex or like pretend what
Oh
was up.
yeah, they were like dating. Barbie and
Yeah.
Ken had a thing.
And like, grinding with their underwear on because, Ken always has his underwear on. And Barbie has no parts except for her boobs. So there it is. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, no, we weren't doing that. Like not even I don't know. But I mean,
yeah,
different lives, different experiences and different family home situations. But I mean, kids are as early as 5th and 6th grade and
yeah,
it's really scary and and there are big consequences that can come from it.
yeah,
Not just having sex and the whole emotional piece and physical, but like if they do, girls get pregnant, it does so much damage to their little growing bodies and to those babies. It's sad, but we fail to give them the
hmm
education ahead
hmm
of time and they just do what they think they should do or what other people tell them to do. And, then they have made adult choices and they're still babies.
yeah, yeah. That's tough, and that's exactly why I think you need to put the family value stamp on it. It's school covers the mechanics of sex,
Yes.
but it doesn't talk about the biggest part of it, in my opinion, which is the emotional aspect that goes along with it and how you may feel leading into it, how you may feel after it, how you handle, like if you're um, preaching abstinence in your household, if those are your family values, what happens if your child breaks that rule?
Right.
If you don't preach abstinence, but you preach safety, are you following through to make sure that they know what safety looks like and seems like, and from a girl perspective and from a boy perspective?
Mm.
Um, with my
Yeah.
boys, when we were talking about it, they might kill me for sharing this, but I had them put a condom on a banana peel. And they're like,
On the peel or the actual just like
or sorry,
straight?
on the
Yeah,
banana,
yeah, yeah.
not the peel. How did,
I know. It's like, well, that's really floppy. That kind of works so
oops.
well.
Yeah, the banana.
Okay.
But
Okay.
like, I wanted to make sure they knew to pinch the tip to get rid of the air bubble before you roll it down. Like, I went into that deep of a conversation and they were dying. But it's like, I also know they know how to put a condom on properly and it's not going to pop and break.
Yep.
And that was my goal.
Yeah.
But we have always been very open about this in our household. Um, my husband's family was not as open growing up, so it was hard for him to talk this way with the kids. In my household, we grew up, again, mom a nurse. She was a paramedic. She saw things she didn't want us to go through. She made sure we were educated. So if you ever caught yourself in a situation, or you know what I mean,
Hmm.
you knew how to protect yourself, you knew how to protect your friends, but you knew what you were signing up for. And then like, you get the consequences in life from the choices that you make. So it is what it is that way, but you're going to know what the consequences are. And I think for me as a mom, I would have felt like I failed my kids had I not shared with them, like, if you choose this, this is what you can, this is the good side, this is the bad side.
Yeah.
So choose appropriately.
Did you ever have the Oreo analogy?
Oreo?
Oh, so there was oh gosh, it was probably 20 years ago.
Okay.
And so in North Carolina, our sex ed is abstinence. I mean, they go through the mechanics of all the parts and like how a
Yeah.
baby's made, and they talk about STDs. Um, they slightly cover condom, like birth control,
Yeah.
right? But it's abstinence
Yeah.
Abstinence, abstinence. So they used to have these speakers come in to the kids in middle school and they would preach abstinence. And so there was one assembly that I clearly remember that the kids had to sit through. And this lady, it was popular in the time, but she brought an Oreo and she was like, gave them all Oreos. And then said, okay, now twist off the two
Yeah.
cookies, and I want you to lick the cream, and you can like take some of the cream if you want it, and then put it back together. And then they were like, okay, now would you give that Oreo to somebody else? Would they take it? It was, I about fell out. About fell out. I have never.
That's a great analogy.
It's a great analogy in one respect, but in another, for abstinence, but in another,
Yeah.
I was like, I have never been in a place where I felt such like slut shaming almost. It's probably not the right word,
Oh.
you
No,
know?
I can see where you're, yeah.
And making people feel ashamed because here's where, and people may agree or disagree because we all have our different values
Yeah.
and different thoughts on this, but I have a hard time with shaming because it's almost always the girls,
Yep.
with shaming girls to think that once they have had sex and they have lost their virginity, that they are used up goods.
Mm-hmm.
They're not valuable
Yeah.
anymore. And who would want them? Because our value doesn't come from just your virginity. That
Yeah.
is such an antiquated
Yeah.
philosophy
Yeah.
and has done so much harm
Yeah.
through all of the years. And having taught kids, and mostly girls, for all of these years,
Mm-hmm.
it is so hard for them,
Mm-hmm.
especially when they succumb to pressure, or God forbid they're raped,
Mm-hmm.
or they
Yeah.
do make a conscious choice and then that relationship doesn't work
And
out and they
yeah.
think, oh, this is the person for me forever at,
Mm-hmm.
bless their hearts, 16, hopefully at least that late. um and then it doesn't work out, and then what do? And then they have to live with that, and they've had the shame built and
Yeah.
deepened into them that they think, oh well, now I'm nothing. So
Mm-hmm.
I struggled with that.
Yeah.
I do think it's great for kids to think through
Yeah.
what they're doing and the choices that they make, and that every urge and feeling, we don't need to act on it
Mm-hmm.
because, there is a line of self control, and that you have to think and be prepared, especially girls. I mean, even boys, like everybody should be prepared. If this is something that you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
then you should have the proper materials. You should have a condom.
Mm-hmm.
Girls, you need to have been on birth control for at least a month or more. I'd say 4 to 5 would be safer. So you know what your body is doing with it and you're consistent with it. Like
Mm-hmm.
protect yourself and protect your future.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
the conversation we have in my house is, I'm not always going to be there. I would prefer that you wait until you are with somebody that you truly love and that
Yeah.
is going to be the person you're with in the future. I don't want you to just go and anybody you kiss and anybody you
Yeah.
attract to, you're like, hey, buddy, let's go.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I want you to be safe and I need you to be prepared for if you, as I tell my children, I watch Call the Midwives, Patty, and so Call the Midwives is a great show. It's like 1960s. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
1950s, 60s, 70s has been on forever. It's like 14 seasons of it. You would love it though because you grew up with a nurse mom and we know like all the
Yeah.
things. And so it's like old time, for the kids. 1950s, 60s, 70s of these nuns and midwives that work in popular England. And so they
Yeah.
go around and they're helping these women have home births. And then eventually they have like a surgery and like a mom house where they can go and have the births like more like a hospital
Yeah.
as it progresses. But it's fantastic. So it's a great one to have on in the background, especially if boyfriends are coming over to the house. And so my poor children, they'll probably end up in therapy. So Reagan will have the boyfriend over at the house, and I turn on Call the Midwives, and I'm sitting there watching these women, like, they don't show the graphic parts, but you
Yeah.
see the acting part, and they're like
Hmm.
screaming and pushing and crying and all the things that are going on, and
Love it.
like, so see, this is what happens if you do anything below the clothes.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's so gross. And I'm like, I'm just saying, these are natural consequences
Yeah.
to those choices. So choose wisely.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're so gross. And I'm like, I know, but just, watch. Do
Yeah.
you want that to be you?
Are you ready for that? Are
Are
you?
you ready?
Are
And
you ready?
you're stuck with them forever. And church is a great place too. We sit in church and we watch. We sit on the side with all the young children
Yeah.
because that's just where we've always sat. Because I always had all the young children, and now I
Yeah.
realize my children aren't that young anymore. We don't have to sit on the side where you can be obnoxious and loud and drive your cars and like have a fit and cry and whatever, and people don't get mad at you. But I still enjoy the entertainment of it. And so we sit over there and so they watch like all these families that just grow, all of a sudden you're there and you're like, wait, she's having a baby. Oh, she's having another baby. And then you're watching them wrangle the 2-year-olds.
Yeah.
And, the little kids are like running up and down the aisles and the parents are chasing them and they're exhausted. And I feel for them because I'm like, you know what? One day you're going to miss this. I know right now is not it, but you are going to miss these days
You
with these little
will.
legs. And, and then I'm like sitting there elbowing Reagan and Liam and I'm like, but you see that? You see that? You're stuck with that forever. See
Yeah.
how they are? That's every day. That's not just on Sundays. That's every day.
Yeah.
I was like, and you could get one worse than that. And they're like, oh my gosh, mom, stop. And I'm like, I'm just saying, natural
Hey.
consequences.
Yeah.
Make your choices wisely.
Oh my God.
I
I
know.
love
So
it.
good, right? So
Well, but
good.
it's good to show them those examples, like, and just be like real life. Like, you think you're ready for this, but like, hey,
Are you?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And even when you are ready for it, you have no idea what
Ooh.
you're signing up for.
Oh, do you remember
And
taking that baby home from the hospital?
yes,
Mike and I looked at each other when we took Michaela home and we were like, wait, they're just letting us take her?
like,
Like that's it? We only had a couple nights in the hospital and
oh,
what am I supposed to do with this?
like we don't even have to pass a test. Like, there's no
I know.
written or like,
Like nothing. I had to do more to get my driver's license. Like,
yeah.
what is
And isn't
happening?
that crazy?
I know.
You have to do more to get your driver's license than you do to like bring another human into the world and be responsible for raising it. That's messed up.
And keeping it alive. Like I was
Yeah.
just like, there's no manual that comes with this. Like no
No.
instructions. You
Yeah.
okay. Good
Yeah.
luck. Y'all.
My
I
gosh.
mean, and we took more classes on having the baby and getting it out of your body than we did on what to do with it once you got it.
Yeah. Yeah. What was the difference for you for talks like with the boys and the girls? Like does anything stand out as like the boys
Um,
were more this, the girls were more this?
so all of my kids, okay, again, because my friend Jen is a PE teacher
Yeah.
and we have all of our kids are like right next to each other. So
Oh,
our
cool.
first ones are like 6 months apart.
Hmm.
Reagan and her daughter are literally 17 hours apart. We were due on the same day, but we had the same doctor who could not deliver us both because we both had to have C-sections at the same time. So she went on the 3rd and I went on the 4th. And they are 17 hours apart.
Oh,
And then
wow.
I know. Yeah. So that's a fun conversation when the kids realize that. And then they're like, oh, did you know? Were you together? And I was like, okay, no, you're not.
close, but not that close. Thanks, Kim.
Right?
Yeah.
But we did go on vacation together pretty soon after, and both had a feeling that we were pregnant. That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then they skipped to number 3. So Liam, he doesn't have a buddy with them. He
Okay.
has a buddy with one of our other friends. And then Ryan and their littlest, they're 6 weeks apart. So what we've done, we always vacation together. So we always went to the beach together, had some kind of summer vacation. I mean, we do lots of stuff together, but that was our big thing. So we started making, as the kids got older, we started calling it the beach talk or vacation Bible school, our version, where we had the talk. And so Jen would do the like health and PE teacher part.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had the fun, entertaining part because that's me. And so I made a playlist.
Oh my gosh.
It's so good. Oh my gosh. So, and then I had, of course, I had dance moves to just reiterate some points to go with it. Because why not? You know, children learn best through movement.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
They had little dances. They die. And I'm like, do we need to do the beach talk? And they're like, mom. And I'm like, yes, I know. This is so fantastic. But
Yeah.
I think having that humor that goes with it, you
Yeah.
know, and yes, they're cringy and it's embarrassing, but it also kind of takes the ick out of it because, you know, we try to make it funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so back to your question, boys versus girls. I think with the girls, I talked more about being safe, making sure
Yeah.
that if they decided that they were ready and this was something they wanted to do, that they needed to be honest and talk with me.
Yeah.
And that we would ensure that they got on the pill
Yeah.
and that they were covered on that
Yeah.
end because and I talked a lot with them about, and it's sad, but like, this is your future.
Mm-hmm.
And he can disappear
Yeah.
and just not be around.
Yeah.
And you're stuck with that baby.
Yeah.
Unless, I mean, you can choose to give it up for adoption. But I think it also helps. My sister had her daughter at 19. And she
But I've got a real life example of,
yeah. She
Yeah.
got pregnant in college, her freshman year of college.
Yeah.
And, you know, going through that, I had just been married. But seeing her go through that, you
Mm-hmm.
know, the boy didn't work out. He
Yeah.
disappeared before the baby was born, showed up at the birth, then disappeared again. We had to go through getting rid of his parental rights and eliminating those, dealing with his parents who wanted to be a part of the baby's life, but he didn't. And, you know, how do you navigate that? And they are the sweetest people in the entire world, but like the kindest humans.
Nice.
And so wonderful, but then you feel so bad for them because
Yeah.
obviously as parents you can't control what your child does.
No.
You know, and my sister pretty much had to raise my niece on her own for
Mm-hmm.
a lot of years. You know, my mom and dad helped, but she was still in school
Yeah.
and didn't get to live the full college life. And, you know, and found a wonderful man who loved her and loved Kaylee and adopted Kaylee as his own and has
Aw.
raised her as his own. And we are so incredibly grateful for him. But you know, that's hard. And so, and then Kaylee knows this, like she had to know. And then obviously, so she shared that with the kids. So she's
Yeah.
the product of that. And so my girls know this. And so they all have these conversations of,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I mean, being smart. So we have that conversation a lot. You know, and just, and then preparing your heart
Yeah.
for that, which is a different conversation. With the boys, I don't know. I think because I'm not a boy, it's easier and maybe it's a little more cringy, but you know, Talk about, I'm like, and there's erections and there's wet dreams and
Yeah.
there's this and that. And, and we go through all of it with, I do at least. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, mom, you're so gross. And I'm like, well, it's the truth.
The
I
truth.
mean,
Yeah.
this is what happens and there's nothing to be embarrassed about. But if you have a wet dream, I need you to put your sheets in the wash and wash it because that's going to get hard and crusty and nasty
Yeah.
the next day. Like, it's not anything to be embarrassed about. And if you need to tell us the dog peed on your bed, that's fine, but you could also just be honest.
I remember when I told my boys, um, all three of them, like Todd and the two boys, were sitting having breakfast. And I said, listen, I need to talk to you about something. I know you're not going to want to discuss it, so I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid, do it fast. If you have a situation overnight where you wake up and your sheets are wet, there doesn't need to be a conversation about it, but I'd far rather you strip your own bed and drop them in front of the washing machine so I know they need to go in rather than me reaching in to pull a blanket up and coming out with a wet hand. That's disgusting. I don't need it in my life. And they all just like were so focused on their cereal. So you've never seen my boys more focused, including my husband. And they're like, got it. And I'm like, perfect. That's all we need to talk about. That's
Right?
great. Yeah.
I mean, but it's an important conversation and if you leave it for the day and think that nobody's going to notice it, it's nasty
Yeah.
by the end. So, I mean, and with the girls, I do talk about how it's really gross and you have to pee afterwards or you're going to get UTIs.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
these are important things to know because a UTI is extremely painful. So I'm like,
Yeah.
every time when it's done, I don't care whether you used a condom or not, you need to go pee.
Yeah.
I mean, I do care that you used a condom or not, but I don't care. Like, you
Yeah.
need to pee.
Yeah.
And it's gross. And it's like slimy and nasty. So
Yeah.
just either way.
And they'll be like, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
Did you ever find crusty socks or hand towels or face cloths in the back of your boys' closet or
So not yet. Not yet. Mine are still 15 and 12. So like we're in the cusp of that.
Of the like, where do I put this now?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Do you want me to send you my Amazon link for the towels?
Yes, Patty, tell them about the towels because you have the best story about this.
When my boys were getting to be that age, I was noticing things going missing. Hand towels, face cloths, whatever. I'm like, gross. Because I have to use that hand towel later. And I don't know which one it was. Because do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was like a mind block for me. So I think we were joking about it in our little group chat. And I'm like, I wonder if there's towels built for this. And so I went on a little bit of a rabbit hole. And there's towels that have like, thank you, please come again. With little sperm embroidered in them. What was the other one? Anyways, I bought them for Christmas and I put them in their stockings and I thought it was great. And my husband, you would have thought, he's like, he goes, I just think it's too far. I think you're going to mortify them both. Well, my boys open their our kids open their stockings together. So my middle opens his first and he's looking at it. He goes, like, what? And then he gets a smirk and he elbows his brother. So then his older brother goes digging in and they're looking at each other. And they're like, they did not mind at all. They thought it was hilarious. And they're like, Mom, because they knew it was me. They knew it was their dad had nothing to do with it.
I feel like dads have nothing to do with any of it. Why is this always the mom job to have the talk with both sexes? Like Mike hasn't had the talk.
Oh, my dad had a talk with me.
Oh, my dad did not. My dad totally left that to my mom.
And I
don't even know. I mean, he may have had the talk with my brothers, but for us girls, I'm almost positive it was only my mom. Yeah. This
was my talk with Bill. We were in the garage and I can't remember if he was teaching me to change oil or a tire. I was not allowed to drive until I could change oil and a tire in my vehicle. That was his rule. And he said to me, has any boy ever offered you lemon gin? And I'm like, no, I don't think so. And he goes, well, if they do, I want you to run. And that was kind of it. And then I was like, okay. And he goes, they call it panty remover, you know. Like,
Bill, don't drink and don't have sex, Patty.
it's like, I want you to run. No lemon gin. So what was the first thing I would have done as a child? I would have went out and tried to find a bottle of lemon gin so I knew what it tasted like.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, that was my, so he still was kind of like, I love him to death for it because that was big for him to do. Like, that was big for him to do. But yeah, my mom covered the basics a bit better. But yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're listening and a boy offers you lemon gin,
run.
Fast.
Fast.
It's panty remover, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a bear's chasing you.
Yeah.
I also talk to my girls. I don't know. I feel like we have to have, it's sad, and this may be just another conversation to have later, but the talks you have to have with your girls about all things. You know, we talk about not putting yourself in situations where you are not in control.
Yeah. The potential for unsafe.
Right.
Yeah.
And that, you know, you always have somebody who is your lookout and who is your buddy. And, you know, like there was a really cool fingernail polish that was invented here at NC State that you can dip in your drink and it'll change color if there's a roofie in it.
Oh, I've heard about this. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was invented here.
Mm-hmm.
And,
but how sad that we have to invent that.
Oh, of course. Right.
Like, how sad that is actually a thing.
Yeah. And that, well, that we even have to have those talks with our kids.
With our girls, yeah.
With our girls. I mean, and we have to have a talk with the boys about consent and what consent truly is. Yeah. And also being smart about age. You know, the horror stories of like that 18-year-old boy who hooks up with the 17-year-old girl and, you know, and then ends up charged with statutory rape. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a lot more that has to go into it. And there's things that the kids are ready for and things that they're not, right? Like, we don't need to have that conversation with 6-year-olds. Even though you should have a conversation about consent and where people should not touch you and what are private parts. Like, that is important for young kids to know.
100%, yeah.
But, you know, you don't have to go in tons of details, but as they continue to grow and get older and they put themselves further and further out of the nest and, you know, and have new experiences, I think there's conversations that come with that. And if you've been open with them since they were little, it doesn't feel as awkward. Right. And you're not trying to spoon or, you know, you're spoon feeding instead of just like making them drink from a fire hose and learn it all in one time, which is hard, you know, and then just having those just little moments where you like pop in and you're like, hey, so you and the boyfriend are getting serious. Mm-hmm. If you decide to do something and you're feeling like it's leaning that way, remember, come and talk to me. We'll get to the doctor. We need a couple months ahead of time. Like, it's something you kind of should plan, not just, you know, in the moment.
Yeah. I think, like, with my boys, too, like, I made sure that I had the talk of when you start dating and if you start to have sex, girls are not your trophies. They are not a notch on your belt. And I want you to treat women with respect. Like, I am not raising boys that are going to take advantage of women. And I'm lucky that they have a younger sister that they adore. And I've always been able to use the example of how would you feel if somebody treated your sister in that way? And they both are like so protective of her. But it puts the feelings home, right? Like, it puts them into their body. And I do it intentionally because it's like, girls shouldn't be a conquest. Don't sleep with somebody that you don't have feelings about.
Right.
And then, but also with boys, protect yourself. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there was a situation I was working with, like a counselor, and she said it's so different now with boys because she said girls sometimes try to trap them depending on. And she said, I had a situation where this girl was pregnant and it could be one of three fathers.
Oh my
And she
gosh.
was saying, I really hope it's so and so because his family's loaded. I hope it's not this guy because he's a total loser. And I really like this guy, but like he doesn't have much.
Mm.
And it was like, oh my gosh. Like, and this, like, she was a minor. I think she was 16. And it's like, that's the way she's talking. So, like, I can only imagine the narrative that she's coming from a household. But it's like, she was just looking for somebody that came for money to pave her way at an early age. I'm like, whoa. And I'm like, so we talked about it. And it's like, and when they were growing up, it's like, this is how you recognize that type of girl.
Mm.
This
Yeah.
is how that type of girl talks, acts, like the things that'll come out of their mouth. This is the type of girl that actually is invested in you as a person and your feelings. And I'm really happy with the choices that they've made dating. But I do think it's largely because we've had those conversations. And then we've had the same with our daughter. Like, your worth isn't your relationship. Like, because in high school, they all want to date, they all want to have a boyfriend. It's like, that doesn't make you special.
Yeah.
Like, that is having a boyfriend on your arm does not make you better or less or anything. It just means you have a relationship. And that's another thing to manage.
Mm. And isn't it though?
And be choosy. Please be choosy.
Yeah.
Like two biggest decisions you'll make in your life are what you do for a living and who you spend your days with.
Yeah.
So be choosy. Yeah.
Be very choosy. I mean,
Yeah.
and you don't have to choose now.
No.
You know,
Oh.
it's weird. Like I don't know, this my kids, and it could just be who my kids are hanging out with because they
Mhm.
are making those choices. But my kids have been hanging out with, I mean, great kids. I love all of their friends. They come to my house. I'm sure I said this, know more about my friends' kids and their friends than they know about their own kids. But they I feel like our kids are very committed in their relationships.
Mhm.
And it's very interesting, because you think about like high school and middle school, and it was always like, we joke about like the middle school relationship lasts what, like 3 days, and then you
If.
break up, and yeah, and then you're on
Yeah.
to the next one. And high school's like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah.
But I've seen so many more that have those relationships where they start dating 15, 16, or even younger,
Yeah.
and they're together all the way through. It's like, all right, this is my person and this is it. I don't need to explore. I don't need to go
Yeah.
find anything. And they're like, we just want to grow up together, and we know each
Yeah.
other, and as life changes, we're happy with that, and we'll just continue to get to know each other through all these stages of life. And I'm like, it's such a phenomenon. I think it's so different than our generation, Gen X.
Mhm.
We weren't like that. It was, don't commit too early. Don't,
Yeah.
it doesn't, that's not going to be the person you're going to marry. You don't need to have that high school sweetheart. There's rare. And I still think they kind of are, but
Mhm.
you're going to change so much from, high school through college on
Yeah.
into your career, that you don't settle. You're not going to be the same person, right? I don't know. It's very interesting. And I know that's not everywhere. Now being at a high school, I see that, but I think it's, I don't know, a unique thing to it. But I've also been really impressed with a lot of my kids, my studio girls,
Yeah.
who date and realize pretty quickly the red flags.
Yes.
with a boy, and they are quick to be done.
Yeah.
Like red flag, red maybe once, comes up twice. All right, we're done.
Yeah.
We're over it. And
Yeah.
I love the strength that I'm seeing in these girls to know this isn't
Yes.
right. I'm not being treated properly. I deserve more than this.
Yeah.
I don't have to settle. I'm done.
Yeah.
And they move on.
I recently had a talk at the studio where a girl really liked this boy and they'd been talking for forever. He was ready to date and she just didn't think she's old enough yet.
Hmm.
And I said to her, both of those things are allowed to be true. He can be ready to date and you can be not thinking it's time for you. And I'm like, and while it might hurt a little to see him with somebody else, if that's what he chooses to do, you chose yourself. And she was like, yeah. And then and that's what she did. Like she chose herself and she's just so strong because of it. And I agree, Megan. I love seeing these girls. I feel like in our generation there was a lot of rose colored glasses being worn, and then the red flags just look like flags. And I
Yeah.
think now the rose colored glasses are off, and it's like they're not as quick to make excuses for bad behavior. Bad behavior is bad behavior, and they might tell you they love you, but their behavior says something else. And behavior is a language. And I think it's really important to remind our boys and our girls about that. Like your boyfriend, girlfriend can say one thing, but if their behavior is saying something different, behavior is actually a stronger language than just words. Like you gotta back it up with something, with some action.
And you don't have to be tied to somebody just because you feel obligated because of any choices that you made.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I really hope my girls know and that other girls hear
Yeah.
is that, you know, you bad behavior is bad behavior and red flags are red flags, and
Yeah.
don't keep yourself in a situation with somebody who is hurting you emotionally,
Yeah.
physically, in any way at all, who is treating you poorly, who does not make you a priority, who is not caring for you as a whole person
Yeah.
just because you chose at some point to have sex with them and now you feel like you have to stay.
Yeah.
You make that choice and you're there forever because you're not.
Yeah.
And and I hope that this generation is stronger than ours was because
Mm.
I feel like so many people did make that choice and ended up in really terrible situations
Yeah.
and really hurt because of it, because they felt like they had
Mm-hmm.
to be with that person and they stayed way too long. Whether they married them or they didn't, you stay too long
Yeah.
and you end up with a lot of scars that just didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
But I also caution kids to be careful of friends and friends being jealous and not liking a person. If that is a person that you want to be with and you care about them and you care about them as a person, then know what you know to be true and not what other people say, because that can be an issue too. And,
Yeah.
and then sometimes you do break off a relationship that could have been very positive for you,
Mm-hmm.
but your friend didn't like them, or you spend too much time with them, or they change themselves too much for you. Now that can be a red flag, but sometimes they're just, being respectful of you as a person and your likes and interests. And as a couple, that's kind of what you do. You don't change for each other, but
Yeah.
you adapt to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And you build a life and a personality together as a couple.
Yeah.
Um, and that's normal. But
Yeah.
we don't know that at 15, 16, right?
No, exactly.
That's like, oh, they're obsessed with me. They don't have their own life and blah, blah, blah. And, not always. So,
No. An obsession. You do not want obsession. You
oh
don't.
my gosh,
You
no.
don't. It's exhausting.
Nor should
Um,
you have to fight for attention. If they're too busy playing video games and they're too caught up in some fantasy world and they're not paying any attention to you, and you are only paid attention to when they want something, usually physically, nope, red flag, out.
yeah, exactly.
Block that number. Bye.
Well, and I think as a parent too, it's important to watch for those signs. Like, is your child upset more than they're happy?
Right.
Are they hiding things from you where they were always very inclusive before? And these are great signs for the kids too. Like, if you walk away from being with your boyfriend or girlfriend and you don't feel good about yourself and it becomes consistent, just walk away, get out of that. And as for parents, like, watch for behavior changes, like isolation, spending more time in their room. Like, all of those things are little warning signs that, oh, this might not be going in a direction and we might need to just go for a car ride and a chat. And I love the car for having chats just because they don't have to make eye contact. You don't have to stare them in the face. They can look out into the wilderness or the abyss and decide what they're going to share with you. And I think it's really important, hard, but important to not overreact, even if you really want to go run somebody over with your car with what your child shares. Actually, especially if you want to go run somebody over with your car.
Don't do it.
Yeah, and like, keep calm. You can vent to your spouse later and be like, "We're gonna get that little bugger," but remain approachable, because it's not what they share with you. It's, can they keep coming back and asking questions? Can they keep coming back and share and know that there's not going to be any negative consequence or retribution to pay for the curiosity and the questions? That's not to say you don't educate and discipline where discipline is needed, but just always try to keep that line of communication open, because if it's not open with you, guaranteed they're going to somebody else for it, and you lose your opportunity to put your family values stamp on it.
Yeah. Well, and home always needs to be the safe place. It needs to be the place. You need to be that soft landing place where, and we've always preached to our kids, you are loved unconditionally. No matter what choices you make, no matter what you do, you will always be loved. You will always be cared for. You will always have a home. Come and talk to us. Like, our door is always open. And and kids are all different, and some are going to need a little more prompting than others, and some are just going to need you to keep pushing. But car rides are fantastic. We've had some of our best conversations in the car. One thing that I think, and we are not by far, we are not the perfect parents, and we are still in the early stages of navigating relationships. But Reagan has a little boyfriend that she's had now for a year and a half. Yeah, about a year and a half now. And I mean, and they're pretty serious. And so we laid down ground rules for them together as, okay, when you're at our house, these are the rules. If we are downstairs, you guys may go in the sunroom and we'll hang out in the living room or whatever. If we go upstairs, you may be upstairs with the door open. The door always has to stay open in your room. There's also a million people in my house and lots of dogs. So with the door open, nothing's happening because it's like, a constant revolving door.
Yes.
But, so we kind of laid that out, like, but you're not going to be downstairs while we're upstairs, right? Like, we all have to be on the same floor. And, so we kind of laid that out from the beginning. What I loved was his mom came over and met us very early on. Like, within the first, I think he asked her out at school, like, had a little moment. It was very cute. And then within that, like, first week, she came over, we met, we exchanged phone numbers. She would call me when they were going out of town, or text me and say, hey, we're going to be out of town, just FYI. And then we would let her know, same thing.
Yeah.
We've gone to dinner, like we've built a relationship with them. We went to the beach for a weekend with them. Um, but the kids know that we are all in communication together.
Yeah.
And as they've navigated their little relationship and, and have had their ups and downs,
Yeah.
um, if something happens, she'll let me know.
Yeah.
And if something happens that I find out about, I'll let her know. And she's had great talks. She's built a relationship with Reagan and had great talks with her. And I've built a
Yeah.
relationship, and Mike has built a relationship with the boyfriend. And we have great talks with him. And he's also a little best friends with Ryan, our 12-year-old, and they go play
Aw.
baseball. Honestly, I really think he likes Ryan better than he likes Reagan. And he comes over to play with him. And if Reagan's not home, he'll like she's on out of town and he'll be
Yeah.
like, "Can you come over and hang out with Ryan?" I'm like, "Yeah, buddy, you can."
Aw,
I know. If
that's
they ever
sweet.
break up, we're gonna have to get Ryan, like, he was like, "That's fine. We'll still be best friends." Like, oh,
That's so
buddy.
sweet. That's so sweet.
It really is. It really is. So it has been such a positive for us, with this first like super serious like relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the parents having a relationship as well. I mean, we
Yeah.
don't have to be best friends, but like we have that open door policy and we're
Yeah.
able to talk to each other and I think it helps. I really do. So I encourage parents that if your kid is getting serious, and wants to go out with somebody, get to know their parents. We used to when they were kids, right? When they were babies, and we'd go have play dates, and you'd want to
Yeah.
know whose house they were going to and who were they hanging out with, and so why don't we
Yeah.
when they're dating?
Right?
It's great.
I agree. I agree. All right. Do you think we covered it? Is there anything else that we should let parents know?
Ooh. I think we just recap. Should we recap it?
Yes.
Yeah. So, it's okay if it's clumsy. A little humor always helps. You don't have to feed them the whole entire
No.
meal in one bite. It's little bites here and there. So, take it as it comes. And like Patti gave the example at the beginning, answer their questions as they come. That's
Yeah.
usually the best way to do it. If they ask a question, you answer it honestly.
But
And
just answer what they asked.
yes.
You don't have I mean, you can choose to, but you don't have to elaborate. And I think to use real life for topics of conversation. Like I remember one time there were three girls, very skimpily dressed, we were parked at a red light, me and I think it was Nader, and the girls walked across like the crosswalk, and he is enjoying the view. And I looked at him and I'm like, you like that? And he's like, yeah. And I said, I don't know how I'd feel if that was the type of girl you brought home. And he went, what do you mean? And I said, well, nothing. Like, I believe girls should be allowed to wear what they want to wear. But when your bum is hanging out your shorts and you're like in a bikini top, and do you know what I mean? I'm just like,
Yeah.
You're representing something.
Yeah.
And so I said to him, like, when you look at that, I said, what do you think those girls want? Do you think they want you to look at them, or do you think they want to just dress how they want to dress? And maybe this is an old-fashioned, I don't know, view. But in my experience as a female, the girls that dress like that are seeking attention. Not all of them, and you can tell by their behavior. But if they're the ones that are also always touching the boys, and they're dressed in bikinis and shorts that don't cover their bum, if they're always the loudest in the room, I'm like, yes, that is attention-seeking behavior. You will always be having to
Give attention in some way.
give attention in some way, shape, or form. And it's like, I would rather see you with a female that asks questions about your day and you have respectful conversation. Like, not even respect, actual conversation, I think is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Real conversation. How was your day? What did you like about that? What do you not like about this? Like, what are your favorite movies? Are they interested in getting to know you?
Mm-hmm.
Or do they just want a boyfriend?
And I was always taught marry your best friend.
Yeah.
Who's the friend? Who's the one that you is your best friend that
Yeah.
you can have conversations with, and that cares about you as a person first,
Yeah.
and then comes all of the extra fun stuff.
Yeah.
But I will say, here are some little last minute tips and tricks. Make sure your children know this. The bras, they don't stay on in real life, nor do most boys know how to take them off. So
Yeah. Don't miss step one like I did.
they just, yeah. So one, just to let them know that. And then two, shower sex is not romantic.
No.
It's slippery, it's gross, it's utter chaos. It's usually the cause of a lot of problems and broken things because it just doesn't work. And all those crazy weird positions that you see in TV and the movies, like who can actually do that in real life? No. And if you can, amazing to you, but usually it doesn't work that way because it's not long enough.
It's awkward.
So awkward.
It's so awkward.
And like, yeah, it.
Yeah.
The more you can tell them it is not like the movies and TV, the better. And nobody, very rarely, if you do, you're a pretty amazing person, has an orgasm just straight from intercourse.
Right. And you did
At the
nothing
same
wrong.
time.
And you did nothing wrong if it doesn't
Nothing wrong.
happen. Yeah.
And yeah.
The talk.
Doesn't happen at the same time. So, there we go. There we go. That's the advanced level talk.
Yeah.
But yeah, and important things you wish you knew that nobody told you.
Yeah.
Much like menopause and perimenopause, which is a whole nother podcast episode because we don't talk about that either. But I just think we should all just be real. And this whole fake reality thing, it's not working for me.
Well, and it'll never be like it is in the movies. You don't have people doing your hair and makeup and putting lighting and shadows on areas. You're in the
Half
middle
the
of
time,
the
you're going to be like, could you go brush your teeth first? Because your breath stinks.
Oh, and now I think we're getting into marital sex. Now I think we're marital sex. It's not like relationship sex.
Right?
That's like, no, you're wonderful no matter what. It's like, no, you're not. Like, here's my top 10 list of why. Yeah.
That is another talk of, once you get past the cute fun and, that little like lovey-dovey, what it really turns into, because marriage is very different. Don't you think? There are lots of stages with it, and
Yeah. But also so fun and like can be great with the right person. Like hopefully with the right person. Because it's
when somebody who knows you so well. Yes.
Yeah. It's you're playing the long game there.
And all of our children just completely died in these last few minutes as we said this on the podcast. My children about had a heart attack when I talked about the Bridgerton books on episode 1. So, yay, kids! You're welcome.
Well, can I share one funny story before we quit?
Please do.
We actually got caught once.
Oh, I love these stories.
It was a great lesson for one of our children. I will not share which one. That when we say knock on a closed door before you open it, we meant it. And Todd said to me, I think we just got caught. And I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, so-and-so opened the door. I'm like, no. And so we're laying there like, oh, like, it's almost like getting caught by your parents when you're like,
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, we didn't. He goes, I think we did. And then we heard a knock, knock, knock. guys, are you in there? And then we were like, we definitely got busted. So then the funny part was what we had a conversation with this child after that. And then that year for Todd's birthday, this child bought him a locking doorknob to replace our bedroom doorknob.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing.
We just made it a joke. You're going to buy your dad a doorknob that locks.
There you go.
There you go. Well, and kids are curious, like more than parents think they might be. And at the end of the day, we're the ones that set the tone for these important relationships in their lives and how to go about having awkward yet important conversations. And it doesn't have to be awkward. It just has to be a conversation.
Right.
Yeah. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed our talk.
Don't quit us. But like I said at the beginning, listen to it first. And then maybe there are pieces that you want to use with your kids. Maybe there's some tips and tricks that we shared. I'm telling you, called Midwives. It's a great one. If you need the playlist, reach out. Let me know. I will send it to you. It's pretty epic.
I want the playlist.
Oh, it's a good one. It's a good one.
Send it.
Yeah. And, hey, have the talk and just keep that open relationship with your kids. It's important. So there we go. Well, thanks for listening to No Bras Required. And we'll be back next week with who knows what. Probably not the talk part 2, but we'll have another important topic and a lot of humor to go with it. We can talk about the serious things and walk each other home from diapers to death and all the things that come in between, but also to bring the humor and our crazy squirrel moments and all of our funny stories that we've lived from parenting to entrepreneurship to just being us and the adventures that we come up with. But we want to build a community and be those people to give you some sound advice that maybe makes you giggle a little bit every once in a while.
So thank you for tuning in. Subscribe, share with your favorite hot mess mama friends, and give us a follow on Instagram at No Bras Required Pod.
Every week we'll drop a new episode tackling everything from marriage and mom guilt to leadership and loss with humor, heart, and maybe a little tequila or wine. So bring your favorite drink and join us every week.